Hey guys, so I thought it was time for another art show and tell, and those are no particular pictures, just random things I drew. Of course, most of them aren't finished at all. So, hello there. When I drew this, I was super proud of it. It was during a time where I almost exclusively read manga by Arina Tanemura. I probably butchered the name, sorry. You know, like Full Moon and Kamikaze Kaito-shan and all those. And I think it's not too bad. Obviously, I got a bit crazy with the wrinkles here, but I still like it. Yeah, this was one of the first I drew after I made sort of a big jump regarding my drawing style. The hands are still very awkward, but as you can see, I got more detail in the hair and I got more detail on the dress, and I started drawing ruffles like everywhere. And I tried to include some wrinkles on his shirt. This was just for practicing reasons, nothing too special. This is a really old one, as you can probably tell. I think I drew this after I bought Final Fantasy X, but I'm not entirely certain. This is another one that was just for practice purposes, and this directly out of the book I learned how to draw with. This was inspired by Dark Chronicle, unfinished. Yeah, still with the Arina Tanemura thing going on. This was after I finished Kamikaze Kaito-shan. Oh boy, my cat brought me a toy. He wants me to play with him. Oh! Sorry guys. Yeah, this is one of my earlier drawings, very early drawings. This I drew after I got a new book, How to Draw Manga, and I was fascinated by the eyes. I still think the gradient looks really good. And I gave her a little necklace. Those are just whatever, nothing too special. They were in relationship to a story set in Egypt, but I never finished them and didn't evolve the story any further. So nothing too spectacular going on here. Those are not special in any way. Those are just for geometry and stuff. Some some Asian / Japanese traditional style related stuff that isn't too good in any way. This I drew after I listened to The Return of Innocence by Enigma. I still like it very much, the song I mean. And she was supposed to be innocence, and he was supposed to return to her. But I found that the drawing was too static and it actually looked like she was descending onto him, so that's why I didn't finish this one. This was another concept for the same thing. Those, I have literally no idea what I was thinking. I think it was in relationship to some sort of story. Those are some generic drawings with fantasy and dragons. I think I drew those after I rewatched The Vision of Escaflowne, the anime. So those are nothing too fancy, as you can see, with some, I stained the paper and didn't finish them afterwards. This was actually a project for school, nothing too fancy. And I still love the eyes I drew on this one. I still think they look really nice. Those were definitely after a very strange dream I had of a girl that was transported into this medieval world and had to assemble the 7 holy swords or something. Yeah, so those are all dragon related. Those are actually drawings for another story of mine that I came up with after I had a dream. It's basically about dragons who are nearly extinct somewhere in a dystopian future, and people are hunting them, and to sort of hide themselves they've learned to turn into people, but whenever they turn into a human form, their lifespan is shortened, and all sorts of crazy stuff happens. Yeah, never mind my cat. This is also a very early drawing. I think I listened to the monk's choir from Lord of the Dance when I drew this. Not entirely certain. Yeah, those are some Victorian style drawings. A little story about a girl who has to pretend she's a boy because she's the only one left of her lineage. Never developed the idea any further. So this was the beginning of another one of my stories about a girl found in a grave by grave digger, and she has no memory at all, and the grave digger is trying to help her regain her memories, and it's this family Victorian style drama. At this time I read the Count Kane the Godchild manga, so I was heavily influenced by this. Nothing too fancy, nothing too fancy. This is a rather old drawing actually, and I think I started drawing this around the time when Van Helsing was in the cinema and theaters. You know, the one with Hugh Jackman. And the song Brennende Liebe by Ooomph and Immortelle was in the charts, and so that's sort of the idea. A little Kenshin drawing. I still like the manga very much. I think he's cute. Though I do not like the way the style of the artist has developed throughout the comics. I prefer his earlier drawings. This was the beginning of some sort of monster. Those are images, basically how I envision some of the beings in the Kai Meier book series, Die Steinerne Königin, Die Fließende Königin. Those are little leprechauns and other fairy tale folk. This was inspired by the movie The Legend of the Leprechauns, Kampf der Kobolde. This is the obviously very old version, and the other one is a bit younger. This is how I always envisioned Insomnia, you know. He is supposed to actually be wearing his PJs, and you have this ghostly silhouettes of his armor and all the crazy stuff that goes on in dreams. So yeah, those are some of that. I like him. This was just a very quick doodle, nothing too fancy, nothing I spent very much time on. And he's basically supposed to be this super tough PI with his crew, and he has just sort of caught somebody lying and everything. Those are Naruto influenced, and I'm going to show you those in the next one because my camera is low on battery. So see you in the next one. Bye! Welcome back. So to another art show and tell. The style here is supposed to mimic the Naruto style. Just a little character I imagined, once again very heavily influenced with wolves. I can't draw wolves at all. Can't draw feet for the life of me. But yeah, basically always the same character in different settings. I started to outline this one, however, I don't know why I stopped. Probably because I didn't like the clothing. I might finish this one actually. Yeah, this was just a quick doodle. I still like this one and I really want to finish it, so I might show you this one once it's finished. And it's basically supposed to be, you know, the character waking up in the morning and stepping out on the roof and a wind is blowing, and obviously the song for this one is the wind opening, the piano and flute version. Not the instrumental of the opening, but another instrumental with just piano and flute, and it's very beautiful and I love it. So after an epic battle, I guess you can tell which one. Yeah. And here I took some liberties with felt pens. It was just a quick study of how to try to create gradients with felt pens. I'm not so proud of this one. Those are not so interesting. Yeah, another one that is influenced heavily by Count Kane. But I ran out of steam. Yeah, I don't know why, but this one looks super stupid. Super stupid. Him. No idea why I didn't finish him. I think he sprang into life after I saw Weißkreuz, the anime. I know it's probably the same for everybody, but I think it's so funny when anime use German as a language, and to hear the pronunciation as well as some of the grammatical errors. I mean, German is a difficult language because we have many rules, but there are much more exceptions of the rules than there are rules actually, so I can understand why people would get stuff wrong. Yeah, he, for whatever reason, only has a colored head and no clothing. This was for a book I read. I used ink on the outlines and I suck at using ink for the outlines, that's why it's so messy. Didn't color it. This was, I think, also after I watched Weißkreuz. Yeah, those are some Hello Kitty Weißkreuz related drawings, nothing too spectacular. Also, again, an attempt at coloring with felt pens, which I absolutely cannot do properly. Those are also not markers, Copic markers. Those are just regular felt pens like you get in every set for first graders. Yeah, a female assassin for the mysterious organization in Detective Conan. The arms are too short, but otherwise I think I managed to hit the style rather well. I don't know why I never finished that one. This was another idea for the assassin, but didn't turn out too well. Also, I think it's really interesting that with Detective Conan, the people responsible for the distribution in Germany decided to keep the original names, while, as far as I know, in English, the characters got new names, like English names. Shinichi is named Jimmy and stuff like that. Yeah, this was supposed to be for Starlight Express the musical, which I never saw, but my sister brought back a CD from the 1996 show when she was in England, and I grew up listening to it, and that's how I imagined that the characters might what the characters might look like. Yeah, this is a very old drawing. It was influenced by West Side Story, obviously, when I went to watch it with my mom, and they had all those breakdancers, and I was fascinated. Those are all pictures in relation to dancing. I did dance for 9 years, so this is more of a flamenco style dress. My favorite dance was the Paso Doble. And this is for another story of mine, which I sort of developed before I saw Avatar, The Last Airbender, and the story is somewhat similar to it, so I gave up on it. Those are drawings which I drew while listening to music by Faun, and also after I played Golden Sun. So those are more fairy tale like, with all the little details. This one is for one of my favorite songs by Faun, which is Flute, which is originally an old French poem, I think, but I love it very much, and so I drew this character who was supposed to be the one sung about in the song. Those are Final Fantasy related paintings, as I guess you can tell. My favorite race, so to speak, the Viera. I think they're beautiful and super cool. A little thief with his assassin friend. Those are more Final Fantasy Tactics related. Yeah, some early drawings, nothing too spectacular. My first attempt at drawing a Viera. Very old picture, obviously. Just some messing around with cat people here. I think after I saw the Berserker costume in Final Fantasy X-2. My attempt at creating, I don't know the English words, of faith. You know, the summonings in FF10, like Yojimbo, where you had the symbols in underneath the ground, the statues. This is supposed to be one like those. This is actually a story painting. I do not know why it's in here. About a world where music played on certain magic instruments can bring peace. And there's quite the conflict, and those two are one of the people playing and trying to bring peace to the world, and it's sort of a fantasy approach to the issue of free will. So some variations in the character. I actually wrote down the first 3 chapters of the story, but I never finished it. Yeah, at a festival. This is an earlier drawing. Yeah, those I think I drew after I watched the Scorpion King with Dwayne Johnson. It was just an attempt at, look at the six-pack, look at the lion's face. I think he's not happy. He looks weird. Just playing around with swords and armory and trying to create a badass. Yeah, this one is definitely Vision of Ascaflowne inspired. Again with my regular issue with hands. Yeah, those are old, very old ones. I think you can tell in what relationship they sprang into existence, so to speak. Yeah. So that's another binder full of drawings. Thanks for sticking with me, and I hope you got something out of it and you found it interesting. I want to do another one. I'm not sure when I will do it, when it will be uploaded, but I hope you like them and you get some ideas or might be inspired to do a bit more, or just found them generally interesting. As I've said, I'm not great at drawing. I'm by no means perfect, and it's something I just like to do for myself.